So for today's video, I'm actually combining episodes 2 and 3 together because for once I was actually able to binge 2 episodes back to back because I had free time. Also, I noticed that the title cards are very centric towards whoever is going to be the focus story. So Buggy was there, and then Usopp's, as you can see, he's the skull for that one, and I think that's cool. So since it's a combination of 2 different episodes, I'm just going to kind of talk about some points I liked and some points that I didn't to make it flow easier. Otherwise, we'd be looking at a super long review video, and I don't think anybody wants to watch. First up, in episode 2, I really liked the set with this Buggy's circus thing. I liked how the costumes and his crew looked. This guy was, wow. I especially like how he made the inhabitants of the town basically his audience. That was kind of something. Like I said, visually, set design, and how everything flowed, it really gave a creepy circus feel, and I just really loved the vibes of this episode. Also, originally I said I didn't like how Buggy looked, but he quickly warmed me over. Honestly, I really like how he looks, and I almost got kind of a little crush on him at this point. I'm sorry, the dude's Buggy. I can't picture anybody else now. The dude was perfectly petty, sarcastic, and very egotistical in all the right ways. One question though, where's Richie? They mention him in the episode, but I sure don't see no Richie. This is sacrilegious. Another thing I liked was the flow of the flashback of him getting rescued from that sea monster, and also him drowning in that container in present day. I super love visually the scene of Shanks passing the hat and how he tips it. I don't know, just something about it. It looked nice. It was good. The one big negative about episode 2 to me is how they made the sea monster look. It just looks tacky. It looks stupid. It doesn't look intimidating at all, in my opinion. Another minor thing is that honestly, already episode 2, I'm starting to not like Nami again, and I was really hoping the live action would save her for me. Honestly, episode 3, she's just as unbearable. Like, I get why she is the way she is. At the same time, I'm sorry, I'm struggling. It doesn't help that she straight up tries to abandon them, leave them for dead, as Zoro pointed out that, she's just looking out for herself, and they continue into the 3rd episode to just butt heads. Obviously, episode 3, we are introduced to my man Usopp. They did not do this guy justice. Like, they barely showed him in either trailer I watched, so I wasn't even sure what to think about him. Honestly, every scene he was in, I enjoyed. They definitely made him a little less annoying in this version than he is in the anime. Mind you, I've never hated the guy. I just struggled sometimes with him because he was just so grating, and his personality was a bit much, but I did love him. And so far, as of episode 3, he is so sweet with how he is with Kaya, but Kaya is just doesn't seem like the right age group for her character. I just think she was cast a little bit off. I mean, she's supposed to be 17 years old, and that is no 17-year-old. No disrespect to the actor who is playing her. I do love how Mary looks. Like, everything about that looks pretty good. While Kuro was a little lackluster, at least he did the glasses thing where he pushes it up awkwardly. I was a little worried that they'd try to insert some kind of romance that shouldn't be there with Luffy and Nami based on some scenes, but so far, based on what I've seen in episode 3, nah, he's very oblivious. He very much just doesn't care. So I'm very relieved by that. My boy don't need no romance. He just needs the seas and his friends and some sweet food and booze. Speaking of his friends, I have a little complaint about Zoro. Where's his lack of sense of direction? So far, this scene where he says this place is a maze is the only nod that we get to his inability to have a sense of direction. I'm just not really seeing it, and that's a big part of his character, in my opinion. Like, it's a running gag. It's him, and I better see him get lost at least 10 more times before the end of this series. My biggest beef with episode 3 is how Arlon looks. I don't really like how he sounds. I don't like how he looks. I really, really hate his frickin' nose. I don't think anything they do with him will redeem him for me, unlike Buggy, because gosh darn it, that nose and everything about him is just lackluster compared to the manga and the anime, in my opinion. And based on this guy, I don't think any of the fish people are gonna look that great. It's just very lackluster and disappointing. I guess for every good casting and costume look like Usopp, we have an Arlong, and that's just how it is. I give episode 2 a solid 9 out of 10. I liked almost everything about it except for how that stupid sea monster looked. Episode 3 was a little bit slower, but I still pretty much enjoyed it. 8 out of 10. It ends on a cliffhanger with Luffy drinking some obviously poison stew thing. Supposedly it's poison stew, but to me it looks like some kind of Smurf pudding with a white turd. Can't wait to see the next episode. I don't know when I'll have time, but here's looking to you, episode 4.